Okay, we are a total of 11 members now. I think we should start because we should respect the time of others who have joined. Thank you so much for joining, guys, today morning. My name is Gaurav. For those who don't know me or haven't read my blog or haven't seen the Facebook group where I'm pretty active, I'm into the IT industry for the last 10 years, and I have spent good 8 years working with top multinational companies like Accenture, British Telecom. I have also stayed in UK for a while, and that is where I got the business exposure. I was a client-facing, contact for my company, and that is where I gathered, strategies and way to handle communication with the clients that can actually persuade them to, negotiate on deals or shake hands on deal. And over the years, I have been gathering, some strategies which I will be sharing with you guys, in subsequent sessions as well. And today, I'm going to walk you through a very exciting case study on how I won a $3,500 WordPress project, which I think is a very profitable deal. I'm sure most of you are doing good. You get projects already. But if in case you are, you are working in these small value projects like say 200 to 500 or say mid value projects, say 500 to 1500, then definitely, there are strategies you can use, or you can work on yourself, train yourself, and, start getting high ticket clients. It's not impossible. It took me just 1 year to transform my individual freelancing career into a growing company. We are a team of 14 team members now. We operate from Chandigarh. Okay, so without wasting any more time, I think now you know about myself. If you want to know more, please message me later, and I'll be more happy to answer all your queries and also chit chat with you. So let's start this session on how I close a $3,500 WordPress project. So I'm going to start a slideshow, and I hope it should work fine at your end. Okay, so please confirm that on your screen you can see the slides now, because this is very important, and if possible watch it in the full screen mode, because I'm going to share some very exciting screenshots which would have some chat snippets. So it's very important that you are able to read the lines very well. So earlier this year, I took the initiative of starting a program called Success with Freelancing. And the purpose of this program is very simple. Freelancing is one area which is growing in a country like ours by the day. Thousands and thousands of freelancers are, getting into freelancer. They are getting into freelancing. They have this dream to be their own boss. They want to follow their own career path. So thousands of freelancers are joining every day, but most of them, unfortunately, most of them do not see success. They give up. They, end up struggling. They don't have any guidance. And hopefully most of you would agree that freelancing is one thing which has not been totally accepted by the society, because our society believes in getting a job or doing a business, something secure and safe. However, freelancing, as you know, is a very insecure area. So, there is no guidance available. If someone is starting new, he is totally lost, he doesn't know what to do. And due to all these reasons, he is not able to achieve the best in his career. So earlier this year, I took the initiative of starting a platform, Success with Freelancing. And this platform would be used to get experienced freelancers and new freelancers under the same umbrella, so that they can start helping each other. Since I am also an experienced freelancer, I will also give out as many strategies as I can, as much guidance as I can. And I'm already helping, freelancers on a personal basis. I'm also helping freelancers on social media. And I think I've been able to help around 8 freelancers, get their first job. And those guys are doing just fine. So it's very exciting. And I think once the collaboration, increases in size, more and more freelancers would be able to change their lives using this platform. So if any one of you, has the willingness to share knowledge or wants to contribute to this platform, please come forward after this session. You can message me, you can call me out. I'll be happy to, walk you through my vision for this platform. So that was about the platform, and I really hope this platform helps thousands of freelancers this year, and many of them are actually able to achieve their full potential. So now let's jump into the main session that we have joined today for this session. So how I closed on 2nd June, that was roughly 2 weeks back now. I closed a very exciting $3,500 WordPress project. I'm going to walk you through step by step and tell you all the strategies that I used. But before I jump into the case study, I want to tell you something very important. I call this strategy as taking this step back. Taking this step back means that, without getting into the actual action on the thing you're trying to work, take a step back and try to get the basics done first. Okay, when you take a step back, you get a broader vision on what you're trying to do, and you would be able to see the situation from multiple angles. So for this particular case study, I want you to take a step back. First, I want to show you, for those who haven't seen how the client dashboard looks like. So we as freelancers or as online bidders, what we do is that we bid on projects, but client has a different dashboard where he gets to see all the bids or all the applicants on a single dashboard. So it's very important for you to understand, and I'm going to enable the chat for a minute because I want to make sure that you guys are able to read the text on this screenshot. I have enabled the chat, so if for some reason you guys are not able to see the screenshot or able to read the text inside the screenshot, please let me know. I'm still waiting for someone to confirm that the screenshots are coming fine and they're able to read the text inside the screenshot. I'm going to wait for 10 more seconds and then I'm going to disable the chat again and resume with the presentation. Okay, Sanjay, thanks for confirming that. Okay, right. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Sanket, for confirming. I'm going to disable this chat again. Sorry, guys. And then I'm going to resume the presentation. Thank you, guys. Great. So now, since you've taken a step back, what I want you to understand is how the client dashboards work, because it is very important, and I will tell you that most of my top strategies are based on this particular dashboard, because it's very important what you write in the bid and how it gets displayed on the client dashboard. So I'm going to show you example of Freelancer and Upwork, because those are like the two giant freelancing platforms. There are others like Fiverr and People Per Hour, but I think these two platforms are the major platforms, and also the same strategies can be applied on other platforms as well. Great. Okay. So so this is the Freelancer dashboard that you are seeing on your screen, and if you're watching it for the first time, I would request you to pay the utmost attention on it. So on the client dashboard on freelancer.com, the client gets to see only 8 bids on his dashboard. So if there are more than 8 bids, then he has to go page by page. For example, when we Google and there are millions of results, only the first 20 results are shown on the page, and then you have to go page by page, the next page, to see more results. But as similar to Google, what we are trying to find, we mostly get on the first page. So it's very important to know that only 8 bids are shown on the client dashboard. So your target should be definitely to occupy a slot in the first 8 freelancers when you bid. If you are on the 9th, 10th, 20th, then the chances of client noticing your profile or reading your bid will reduce significantly. Okay. And the other important thing I want to show you is how much text or how much bid does the clients get to see, because obviously, we write long bids. We introduce ourselves, we share the work portfolio, and then write some other stuff relevant to the project. So maybe we would write like 10 to 20 to 30 lines, but it's not possible for the client to go through everything at once. So when he is shortlisting, he gets to see only the first two lines. So on the screenshot also you can see it's very visible. So you can see three bids, and for each of them only the first two lines are shown, followed by a more button. When the client would click on more, he would get to see the actual bid. I mean the full summary of the bid that the freelancer has done. Okay, so this part is very important. Make sure that these two lines are are the main focus of your bid. So these two lines are the only opportunity to write something which would gain attention of the client. Okay, so please make sure that your first two lines never start with dear sir, madam, I am so and so and I've done my engineering from so and so college, because that makes no sense to the client. Okay, the first two lines should be the most relevant part, and this is the only opportunity to have the client's attention. If you waste that opportunity, I'm sorry to say the client will not contact you for further interview. Okay, and also the platforms have their own algorithms to find the best freelancing profile, and then they kind of recommend it to the client. So the first profile here from Prakash M, you can see has a badge that says recommended. So there are many factors. It depends on the pricing they have included. It depends on the number of reviews they have, number of ratings they have, and the number of relevant jobs they have completed in this in this similar skill set. So if you are the recommended freelancer or the top rated freelancer for that project, on freelancer.com you get a unique opportunity to chat with the client. So you can still not initiate the chat with the client, but the client would see a chat message, a default chat message from your profile. And that is a very good opportunity, because most of my projects I have seen is that when I'm the recommended freelancer for the projects that I did, I think over 40% of the cases, the client contacts me, and then it's up to me how I can showcase my skills, how I can use my strategies to win that project. Okay, so two things from here: you have to target to get into the top 8 slots. Okay, so you have to bid very fast, but you still have to be relevant. So do not copy paste the bid, write something relevant to the project, and your first two line is the only opportunity. Do not waste it, please. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how the Upwork client dashboard looks like. So this is how the the client dashboard looks on Upwork. The client gets to see 10 bids, unlike Freelancer, which shows only 8 bids. So 10 bids are shown to the client, and you can see that the client gets to see the pricing you've quoted, how much you have earned on the platform, how much percentage is your job success rate, which country are you from, okay, and then he gets to see the cover letter. And if you notice carefully, the cover letter also shows only 2 lines, because the purpose of the platform is to show at least 8 to 10 bids on the same screen. Okay, so even in Upwork, same as freelancer.com, your first 2 lines is the only opportunity. So do not waste this opportunity by telling irrelevant things. I have seen hundreds of freelancers making a mistake by pitching that we are so and so company, we have this registration, we have won 500 awards. It doesn't matter, guys, because your client is looking for something unique. Your client wants to know. He doesn't care about the size of your company. He doesn't care about how many awards you've won, or how many technologies can you work on. What he wants to know is that how you can help him with his project. So make these 2 lines very relevant to the project, and in the further slides when I show you my bid, I will show you how exactly I make the best use of these 2 lines. Okay, so I'm going to enable the chat pretty quick, so that if you have any questions regarding the Freelancer dashboard or the Upwork dashboard, you can start asking the questions. And if you think I'm moving very fast or my language is not clear, please let me know, because the purpose of this session is to help you guys. And if there is any obstruction, then it is not a good use of time of yours and mine. So please give feedback as well. Ask any questions if you have. I'm going to wait for 15 seconds. And if no one answers, I'm going to resume with the session. Hi Sanjay. Yes, definitely. I would love to, share the cover letter with you. But for this session, the example I'm going to share you is from freelancer.com. But you would get a good idea of how you want to write the cover letter, because and mostly making the first two lines and get the opportunity. So definitely in the next slide, you would see a real bid that I placed, and accordingly you would get to know how to write an effective cover letter. Akash, I'm sorry to hear that your Upwork account has been suspended, and this has been. I mean, unfortunately, this has been for thousands of freelancers in Asia, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and all. But unfortunately, I cannot help you with this. I have a couple of, I was reading somewhere, and there are a couple of things you can try, but I cannot guarantee that I can get your Upwork account enabled. Okay. So and also, I would never advise anyone to be upset on an account getting cancelled, because see, this is something beyond our control. Okay, I can wake up tomorrow morning and I can see a sorry email from freelancer.com telling me that my account has been disabled, but I will not waste time on thinking. I will try to find other channels of opportunity. This is internet, guys. There are so many channels, and in further sessions I will show you how easily you can get projects from LinkedIn, you can get projects from Facebook, you can get projects from some strategies that I have been using. So don't get upset if your Upwork account has been disabled. You can contact the support team, but I'm sure they are not going to help, because that has been case with several thousand other freelancers. So don't get upset. Start looking at the other opportunities. This is internet, a world of opportunities, a lot of projects, a lot of money is flowing around. You just need to think outside the box. Okay, so I'm going to disable this chat again. Sorry guys, because I want to resume the session. Okay, I have a message from someone who is not able to join, but it looks like he is opening from mobile, which is anyways not a good idea. Okay, so I'm going to possibly share the replay link with him. Okay, yeah. So great. Okay, now let's start with the actual case study. Guys, be ready with your pen and paper. Okay, move all the distraction, WhatsApp and all. Please focus on this with me, and I can assure you that you will definitely take away some key strategies from this session. Okay. So this was the client project that was posted on 2nd of June. I think it was roughly around 10:15 or 10:30, around the same time we're having right now. Okay. And so, okay. So let me tell you one thing, okay? What all key things I notice in the first 5 seconds when I see a project, okay? I actually bid every single day for like 30 minutes, and I have spent like the last 2 years doing this. So I have learned, I have trained my mind to look only at the important things. I don't waste time, because I want to make use of maximum opportunities, post on maximum bids, maximum projects in that 30 minutes every morning when I bid. So The first thing I notice is is the project budget. I mean, of course, the title as well. So the project title tells me that should I actually be clicking on that link, going to the project and see the project detail. Then I see the the project budget. So for this quarter, I have a strategy of bidding on projects only over $2,000. So this was definitely the project that was within my the the budget that I'm looking for. Now what I do is I always read the project description. I'm aware that maybe most of you or some of you have not been reading the project description but have been copy pasting the bits all the time. Guys, that is very wrong strategy, and I can tell you that this will not work in the future. As you can see, Upwork has taken such strict measures. So similarly, other freelancing platforms are also going to take strict measures because they want to maintain the quality of talent they are providing to the employers. That is how they make their money. This is a business for them. So all the platforms are going to make it very difficult for the copy paste freelancers or bidders to survive. Okay. So don't make it a habit. Train yourself. Always read the project description line by line. Okay, what you can train yourself is to how to read fast, so that you can read relatively faster as compared to the other freelancers, and you get an advantage of bidding fast. So what I do is I read very fast. I have trained myself how to read fast. You can just Google and you can get some techniques on how you can train yourself to read fast. So for the project description, I look for 2-3 kind of things, like what exactly is the client looking for? Okay, is there any unique requirement? For instance, is there a multi-language requirement? Is there an integration required, or is there some kind of requirement like I want this started immediately, or I want this launched in April. So all those things will give you the exact material that you want to post in the first 2 lines. Guys, again, I am emphasizing that the first 2 lines is all you should care about. Everything else can be copy pasted or can be scripted, but the first 2 lines have to be unique. Okay. So from this project description, I figure out that this client needs an online clothing platform. And he is into a fashion industry, and he wants to bridge the gap between African and Australian fashion. So I'm an IT guy. I don't know anything about fashion. So that got me curious, and always be curious, because that is how you can start asking questions, asking the right questions. So since I'm not from the fashion industry, it got me curious. And trust me, if you start your query, if you ask relevant questions to the client about his business, he's going to appreciate it, and you would have his immediate attention. So I got to know that this guy is looking for an online clothing platform, means an e-commerce website or an online store. And this guy is into fashion industry, and this guy is trying to do something for the African and Australian fashion. So since I was not a fashion guy and I wasn't aware that what he's actually trying to do, I wanted to question him on something that can grab his attention. Okay. So now I'm going to show you my bid through which the client contacted me. But before I show you my bid, again I'm taking a step back, because I want to show you the top 3 bids that were on this project. My bid was somewhere around on the 40th number. Okay, because this project, as you can see, received crazy 113 bids. That's a lot of bids. Okay, but it's obvious this client was smart. He knew how to filter the bids based on the first 2 lines, and that is how he got to reach the 40th bid, which was mine. And then he initiated the chat. One more important thing that I have marked in the red arrow is the country flag. Country flag is very important, and I use this to my advantage, and I will tell you how exactly. Okay, so recognizing the country from its flag is very easy. You can train yourself for 4 to 5 hours, or 1 hour every day. just see the flags for the Western countries, European countries, and Australia. So this client was from Australia, and I figured it out using the flag. But since this guy was also talking about Africa in his bid, so that got me curious, and you will see how exactly I used all this information in the first two lines. Okay. So now I'm going to show you the top three bids that were placed on this project, and I will also tell you why I think those bids were not right, so that if you're doing the same mistake, you can avoid doing that. Okay. So this was the top bid on that project. This guy quoted 4,444 Australian dollars. Okay. This guy, I think, has been on this platform for years because he has done close to 3,300 projects, as you can see. His overall rating is 4.8, which I'll say is good, because when you work on huge number of projects, maintaining the 5-star rating is very difficult. But still, I try my best to have the perfect 5-star rating, because that gives you good advantage over others. Okay. So let's, okay, and this guy is from Pakistan, as we can see from the flag, right? Okay, so now let me tell you what all, what all I observed and why I think this bid is not a good match. And if I was an employer, I would have just ignored this bid. Okay, so I've also marked these things in yellow for you. So this guy started by saying, we have reviewed your project, build a website with short description, and fully understand your requirement. See, this is a classic example of a copy-paste bid, right? This guy did not care to read the job description. He just has, the lines scripted somewhere. What he does to fool the, fool the client is that he replaces the project name every time. So what you see in double quotes, build a website with shop, he just replaces this for every project he bids on. And trust me guys, a smart employer would know that you're trying to trick him, and your profile would be ignored. And for those who don't know, Freelancer also allows the employer to mark your bid as a spam or not relevant. Okay. And if he marks, then your profile is going to get affected. So please don't get into strategies like this where you copy paste and all. First two lines have to be handwritten, have to be precisely, accurately as per the project description. Okay. So okay. The other thing you notice in the second paragraph that he wrote WooCommerce. Okay. Now this is very important, guys. See, the client is not meant to know anything about technology, not even what is WordPress, what is WooCommerce, what is HTML, because he is a business guy. Okay. In countries like India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, we guys are so much into IT or so much into computers that we tend to know each and everything, or at least we tend to know the major terms that are used in that industry. But clients, overseas clients, if you're targeting overseas clients, those are simple people. They don't care about technology at all. That is why they hire freelancers like us. Okay, and that is how we make our living, because they don't know stuff. So don't use any technical terms like WooCommerce or HTML or Magento, Shopify, because it's totally irrelevant. Talk to the client always in his language, and you would get a fair idea about his understanding from the project description. Once you read the project description, and if the client has mentioned nothing about WordPress or the choice of technology he has, or anything to do with PHP, HTML, then it is safe to assume that this guy does not knows about technology. And then you should always use very simple terms, no technical terms at all, because it is only going to confuse him. So don't waste the opportunity by confusing a potential employer. Okay. Now moving to the third paragraph, we have a team of experienced developers. So this is something I'm totally against, and I do not advise any of my the freelancers that I coach. Always try to pose yourself as an individual, because the kind of clientele or the kind of employers we have on freelancing platforms, most of them are individuals. They are not like enterprise level companies which want to, hire a team or a company. And also in the West or in the developed countries, they know that if you hire a company, there are overhead expenses like you have to pay for the manager, okay? And so don't, tell the client you are a team. Even if you're a team, pose yourself as an individual. And if the client contacts you and if he asks you that, are you a team? Then you can tell him that yes, we are a team. But in the initial bid, I don't think you should be, you know, revealing that we are a team. So I always post myself as an individual, even though I'm a team. But on the chat, if the client has queries and he asks me that are you a team, then I'll be honest. I'll tell him I'm a team, and then I try to tell him that the advantages a team can bring in and how we as a company don't even overcharge you for the project management cost. Okay, so this was the first bit. Hope you're taking notes. Hope you're finding this session interesting. I'll move to the second bit now. So this was the second top bit on that project. Okay, so this is a classic example of how to face the opportunity, and if any one of you is doing this, please do not repeat this. So as I showed you in the client dashboard screenshot, first two line is a very unique opportunity. Now this guy has simply written, dear employer, my name is something. I've read your brief and can see, okay, we have 7+ years of experience in designing, developing mobile apps. Okay, this is an opportunity wasted because client doesn't care about your name, at least in the first line. Okay, he wants exactly to know how you can help him or if you have any questions, because you have to give him something. Okay, something to have his attention on your profile and initiate the chat. So please do not make this mistake. I'm going to move on to the next slide now. Okay, so this was my bid. Hope the text and all is clear. And this was the winning bid. I quoted $3,500, and of course that was a placeholder bid. And when I talk to the client, I tell him that, based on our discussion and when I get to know more about the low level details about the project, I can then give you an accurate cost. Okay. So see the first line, it says, would you be shipping only in Australia or both Australia and Africa? And for those who have forgotten the project bid, the project description, let me quickly show you once more. Okay, this guy needs an online clothing platform. He's trying to do something for the African and Australian fashion, which I don't know because I'm not a fashion guy, but it got me curious, so I wanted to ask him a question. And you can see how I have used that curiosity and as an opportunity. So I started by asking a question, would you be shipping in Australia or both Australia and Africa? And I got to know that this guy is from Australia because remember the little country flag I showed you on the project description, below the project description. So you would get to know the country from there, and accordingly you can write your bid. So here I asked him a question that got him curious. The next line was, I would love to assist you with the design, build and launch of your online clothing store. So I made sure that I wrote online clothing store because that is what he wanted, and focus on these three words, design, build and launch. So here I'm trying to tell the client that, employer, I'm going to stand with you from the very beginning of this project till the very end. I'm going to help you with the design phase, I'm going to be there for the builds phase, and I'm also going to be available for the launch. So these three words can actually do a lot of magic. They will tell the client that this guy will stand with me from the very beginning till the very end. Okay. So I've also have made this red rectangle for the first two lines because this is exactly what the client would see on his client dashboard. And I think if you compare this bid with the other bids that I showed you, you would get a clear-cut idea that why those bids were ignored and my bid was initiated chat with. Okay. And then the next line was, I have a few questions to ask before I can work on the time and cost estimate. So please get on a chat with me. I make sure I tell the client that whatever I have quoted, like $3,500, this is just a ballpark number. It may increase or decrease based on the further discussion. So please get on a chat with me. Okay, here I'm making a call to the client that I'm available for the chat. If you're available as well, let's get on a chat. I'm going to ask you some questions and then I'm going to provide you an accurate time and cost estimate. So that was the first paragraph. Now the second paragraph was very carefully written because I knew this client is from Australia. Remember that little flag again. So that flag can actually do a lot of wonder for you. Okay. So I already have a few clients in Australia which I have worked with, and I'm sure that if any of my prospect or if any of my clients wants to call them, email them and check about my work, they are going to put a very good word for me because I gave them above and beyond and very satisfactory results with the project. So I told this prospect, I'm already assisting 2 businesses in Australia and I'm sure they would love to recommend my services to you if you would like to check with them. Okay. Now for those who don't know, giving references and having check on someone they don't know, because this employer doesn't know who Gaurav Nanda is or who, Great Start. I mean, that is my company name. What Great Start is. And there is always a lot of, people are aware there is so much fraud on the internet. So people have that insecurity. So here I'm trying to challenge the employer that even if you want to check from your own people living in Australia who have worked with Gaurav Nanda, you can ask them and they will put a good word. Okay. So this is very important because in developed countries, they really make decisions very well if they have the references. Okay, so if you don't have the references, that is totally okay. But if you have the references from the same country from where the employer is, make sure you use that opportunity. Okay. Now coming to the next paragraph. Now, since this was an online store, and I always make sure that I kind of upsell, not aggressively, but I try to tell them that I can also be of help after the launch of this project, because see, an online store has only one goal: making sales, making crazy sales. Okay. So I told him I'm also a digital marketing consultant. So after the launch, I can also help drive traffic and generate sales for your clothing store. So this is also a very important aspect. If if you're into digital marketing or you provide services that are not required by the client now, but he might need it after the launch or say after 3 months after his business, make sure you also highlight that so that he knows that this guy is a long-term relation for him, and then he will prefer you over the other employers. Okay. Everything else that you see beyond the third paragraph is copy pasted. Okay. So I've given the recent projects which my company has done, and then I've told him that if he has any queries, I'm here. I wished him health and success. And then before leaving, I just wanted to make another appeal, because my intentions are to get him on a chat with me, right? So just before my signature, I make a final appeal. Let's get on a chat if you're available, and then my signature. So that was the winning bid, and you can see how line by line there have been strategies. I have been making use of what he wrote in the title, of what he wrote in the project description, even his country and even his business, how I can be of help after the launch, how I can generate sales for him, right? And if you compare this bid with the other bids, and I can guarantee the other 112 bids that were there, if you compare them, and I can actually provide you all the bids if you want, okay? But maybe later. You will see that no one cares to write, with so much accuracy. And once you guys write with so much accuracy, and the client has his eyes on your bid, there is no way that he's going to consider other profiles. Okay. So that was the winning bid. Hope you are taking notes. Hope you are learning from this session. Now I'm going to move you how the client initiated the chat with me and then how we went further from that. I'm going to open the chat for just 1 minute. I mean, if in case you have any questions. I'm going to wait for just 15 more seconds. So if you have any questions, please write it on chat. If you want to speak up, you have a microphone. Please use the speak up, the hand icon on the right side. Hi Rohit, that is correct. This is an e-commerce project. Hi Akash, yes, you're right. If you are a beginner, you have no ratings and reviews, and that is why I'm telling this strategy that even people who have done 3,300 projects, you can outbeat their profile if you write the first two lines relevant to the project, and then your entire bid should be specifically tailored for the for the client project. So here I was on the 40th number, right? But when the client reads my bid, he knows that this guy cared to read the bid. He is genuine. That is the message you want to give to the client, especially as a new freelancer. Hi Vijay, thanks for joining. Okay, so after this session, I have a question and answer round. So Vijay, I will answer your question then because I wanted to take questions specifically to the session that we have been doing now. So Vijay, I'm going to make you wait for a few minutes. Sorry about that, but I'm definitely going to answer your questions in the question answer round, which we'll have in like 10 to 15 minutes for now. Thanks for the hold. Okay. Hi Pooja. Pooja is asking how to refer your startup firm company when bidding project. Since we looked at previous slides, not to use, we have a team. Okay, Pooja. So this is a this is a strategy that I think works for me. So it's not like it's not like a golden rule. You don't have to use it, but I always pose like, okay, and then there are some clients which actually say I'm looking for a freelancer or an agency or a company. So in those projects, you can definitely, pitch that you're a startup or you're a company. But when the message, but when the employer is not giving out the message that he is looking for a company, he kind of, he's telling that he's looking for an individual. So pose yourself as an individual, and then once the client initiates the chat, because that is all we need, client initiating the chat. When client initiates the chat and he is interviewing you, then you can make sure, and if he asks you, then you can tell him, yes, we have a small team. And I emphasize on telling that he has a small team, sorry, we have a small team, because if you tell him we are a 100-member team, then they are going to think in other ways. They are going to think that you're going to charge them much because you also have to maintain your operational cost. Okay, so hope that answers the question for now. I'm going to disable the chat, sorry guys, and then we'll have a question and answer round where you can fire more questions on me. Thanks Vijay. Right, so now we've seen the winning bid. Now I'll show you the client chat. This is how the client initiated the chat with me. He wrote hello there. Okay, so I'm going to tell you some very basic things. Okay, very basic things, but I really believe in it because I have spent time training myself. on various things which I will share with you later, and which were not even related to freelancing or IT at all, but that knowledge has helped me a lot. Okay, so I believe, and I always do this, whenever you start a message, start a cheerful message, and when you're talking virtually, you can use smileys to give the message that you are in a cheerful mood. Okay, so you can see I wrote hi there, good to see your message, and then I wrote a small smiley. This is a very basic thing. Okay, and you might not even see the advantage on it, but this is the first step of building a quick relation with the client, and you will see over the chat how I try to do that. Okay, and then based on the time in his country, which can be seen on the top left, I can see that that time it was 12:30, and I know people in Australia and Western countries start their day very early, like 6 or 7 a.m. So I asked him, "Are you having hope you are having a fine day." So that is kind of a professional etiquette that you follow when you are talking to someone new. You try to be cheerful, and you can ask him that how was your day or how was your evening, depending on the time in his country. Okay. Now, I always make sure that I know the name of the person I'm talking to. Okay. And you might have also seen that when I was answering the questions on the chat, I was making sure that I know the names and I call out the names, because name is very personal to us, and when someone calls us by our name, it actually makes a place in the other's mind, and it is very good to make relationship. So since I did not know the name of this employer, I asked him indirectly. I told him my name and then told him good to know names. And once you write this, or you can just reframe the sentence. And I would like to request you guys, do not copy paste the sentences that I have written. I want you to learn the strategies and not the sentences. And once you have learned the strategies, you can write your own sentences. Thank you. Okay. So now I told him my name is Gaurav. Good to know, good to know names. And now he is telling his name, that his name is David. And when you're talking to on chats, what happens is that you are typing something, meanwhile someone else has have replied to a previous message. So sometimes the order of the chat might not be same. So here I will tell you that if there is anything of importance in the chat, make sure that whatever you are typing, just hold on that and acknowledge the important message, as you will see in the further chat. So this guy now starts telling me more about the project. He starts giving me reference link that he wants a website like shop.mango.com. Okay, and what I'm doing is, now since I have the link, I am looking at the website. Meanwhile, he told his name. Okay, then I stopped. I was actually writing something about the Mango website, but I stopped because his name is very important to him and is very important to the communication as well, the chat that we're having. I stopped my chat and acknowledged his sentence. I told him, "Hi David, it's nice speaking to you." So always be very polite, courteous, professional in your chats. Okay. And then I wrote the other thing. I'm on the Mango website. Okay. Now there is one more thing I want to tell you, and I have seen this done by many freelancers, many professionals as well. What they do is that they don't speak up well, they don't write well. Okay, most of the answers they write are okay, I see, yeah. Okay, so do not write one word questions. This will not help you make the relationship. Okay, so for instance, when you see this, this employer has given me a reference website, I want to make sure that I write something more than okay or I have seen the website. I want to tell him I have spent some time looking at the website. So I told him I'm on the Mango website, quite clean and simple interface. I wanted to tell him something about the website, and then he acknowledges the message. Yeah, simple, less cluttered. Okay, and then we started talking more about the project. I wanted to know more about, because my idea was to know about the complex areas on the website. See, making an online store is not a big deal if you're into IT, unless they have like crazy number of products, crazy number of integrations, or the variations of project and all. So making an e-commerce project is not that hard if you have good talented people or you are a good talented freelancer yourself. So now I'm started capturing some details so that I can start estimating the cost and see if this guy can pay me over $2,000, which was my strategy. So I started asking him how many products are we looking at here, because I know if I'm going to propose in WordPress. So for those who know, WordPress actually breaks after 5,000 products or more, and then you have to fine tune the database or use some external system for search queries and all. So WordPress is a good platform. It actually speeds up the development, but it has his own its own drawbacks as well. So I'm trying to figure out many things. What platform can I use? How many days will I have to invest? And how much money I should be asking this employer. So I'm asking some questions relevant to the project. Okay. So I'm asking how many products you have, and meanwhile the client tells me, please also have a look at AliExpress, and he's telling me that he wants a marketplace. I mean, he wants a website where other designers can upload their products. And he gives a reference of AliExpress, which is a marketplace. So I asked him, so you need a marketplace. Okay, always take confirmation from the client, because it's important for you to also scope the project, because even if you're winning a 5,000 project and you end up having 3 people work on the project for 5 months, it is going to be a loss for you. So always start asking the right questions, but at the same time do not make it overwhelming or complex for the client, right? So now I'm trying to make sure, does he needs a marketplace or does he have something else in the mind? Then he starts telling more, and then I'm asking him more questions, trying to understand the complexity of the website. I'm asking him, would the commission of the vendors on this marketplace would be, how would the commission thing work? So he's telling we would be uploading ourselves, not them. Okay. So this is in response to the other question that I asked him. So now this guy is making clear. So actually he doesn't want a marketplace. He just wants, a single admin would be uploading all the products, and he just wants the owner of the product name to be shown, which would be the designer name. So by now I kind of understood that he's not looking for anything complex. He's not looking for a fully functional marketplace, but he's looking for a smaller version of it. And then I'm asking him more questions, trying to understand the complexity of the website, because in my mind, there are numbers running. I'm thinking, should I ask him $2,000, 3,000, 4,000, right? And how many days my team would be spending on delivering this project? So questions like that, right? Okay, so by now I'm clear that he doesn't need a fully functional marketplace. He needs a smaller version of it, but he still needs a marketplace. Okay, so now this is an opportunity. If you have something similar, now since you are one level down, you know the low level details, because you are talking to the client now, and your assumptions are not just based on the job description. Now if you have anything relevant in your portfolio, this is the time to show that trump card. Okay, make use of it. Fortunate enough, I had a marketplace built, and then I shared the reference with him. But the funny part was that the marketplace was never live. So I tried to explain him that I can show you a marketplace that I was doing, but it is not complete because my employer's investors backed out. So there were funds issues, and the employer couldn't pay me after a certain amount of time. So that marketplace is not complete, but still you would get a fair idea that I am capable of building marketplaces, right? So below you can see that he acknowledges that it is a cool website. So this is a good sign that he likes my work, and this is also getting me excited because someone is showing interest in my work. And since I had placed a bid of $3,500, this guy is capable of providing me that budget as well. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to grab some water. I'm back. Right. So now this conversation is getting interested because the client is showing interest in me, and obviously I'm interested in the client for obvious reasons. So now the chat is going to be more interesting because now this client has my focus, and I'm not, doing other chats. I'm not talking to my team. I'm not checking WhatsApp because this can be a good deal for me because if I spend time with him, there is an opportunity I'll take some $3,000 or $4,000 home, okay, for my company, right? And then I'm asking more questions, and then he's giving me more references. And as you can notice, every time he gives me a reference, I always acknowledge that reference first. So he gives me a reference of a website called ASOS, and then I give him, I write him something which is relevant to the website. I also give him some ideas. So in that website, actually, there was a product page gallery, and the video was placed at the end of the gallery, which was like a waste of opportunity. So I told him that I would have placed the video as the first placeholder. And then he says, yeah, that's smart. I would also. See, now if you're giving some ideas related to the project or something relevant to the project and your client and the prospect agrees, make sure you write something very positive. So you can see as soon as he agreed with my idea, he said, I would also. I told him, see, we are making a good team already, right? These kind of sentences make a very good relationship. You are acknowledging and also informing the client that, see, we are on the same, energy, we are on the same, thought process, and we are making a good team. So I'm indirectly telling him, see, I'm the guy you want to hire today. Moving on to the next slide. Right. So now I know this client is going to start asking for the cost, because cost is at the end what matters for both him and me, right? So I'm setting the right expectation that I have to ask you a few more questions before I can actually start giving you the the budget and the timeline. And then and then I also inform the client that if he has a need of an early launch, we can do the project in phases. So always try to give options to the client. Make use of your expertise and knowledge in guiding them, but at the same time, don't use technical terms. Don't make it complex for the clients. Okay. So I'm trying to tell him that we can even work out the project in phases. If you want an early launch, we can say launch in 2 weeks. We can get the most important functionalities out there, and then once your website is live, we can do the other features in subsequent phases. So this is something which client would appreciate. Okay. And then again, so this chat is, I'm also trying to give you a generic advice as well, and I'm also trying to give you some advice based on this chat. So don't get confused. And then again, I'm asking him question, what features would go in the phase is yet to be discussed. So now this guy is asking what features would go into phase 1 and all. So I have given him a possibility because I don't want to lose this client. Say if I tell him I'll take 90 days, he might just run away. Or I say 60 days. So I'm trying to get out of the client how many days can he actually give me, okay? But at the same time, I'm also telling him that, okay, if I need more days, you have less days, then I can give you an early launch by filtering out some irrelevant or not the most important features out of the phase one. I will give you the launch within the date you want, and then we can carry on with the other features. Moving on to the next slide. Right. So now the thing is, I want to ask him some questions to make sure that he won't be surprising me later with some complex integration or something. So it's always good to know the background of your client so that you can talk to him in the same language. Now, since he was talking about fashion and all in the in the project description, I'm asking this guy, are you a designer? Because if he's a designer, I can know that he doesn't know anything about databases and stuff. So he tells me, no, I'm not. And then I'm also answering his question, how long would it take to build the website? So I'm telling him 25 to 30 days. So for those who don't know, people in Australia mostly prefer to work 4 days a week. They're like they are the lazy types. So 25 to 30 working days is roughly 2 months in Australia. So he tells me about 2 months roughly, which is fine. So now I know the timeline. Now I know that, okay, even if there is some complexity later, okay, so I can accommodate because I have good timeline given by the client. Now again he starts pushing me, how much would this cost, right? And now again I want to tell him, and I also want to take his permission to ask more questions because maybe my questions are irritating this guy. Obviously, based on my experience, 99% of the employers would really appreciate that you're asking the question because they know that that I earn for my time. I'm a service provider, my time is my money, and if I'm investing the time getting curious about his project, doing my research and asking him the right questions, he would appreciate that I'm investing my time and money indirectly just for his project. Okay, so now I'm telling him something because I want to know, is he actually appreciating my questions or should I cut short the questions and give him the cost estimate. I told him I actually asked a lot of questions because I want to get into the client's mindset and his vision, so please bear with me. See, now this is kind of a very cheesy statement and it works out good. Okay, it's very attractive to the client because now you're telling him, see, I'm asking questions because it's very important for you because I've just met you 30 minutes back. It's very important for me to know your vision about your business and your website so that I can deliver you the best. And in the yellow mark section, you can see that I have his permission. Not only his permission, he actually appreciates the fact that I'm asking questions. He says, I love your questions. Now that is very nice. Okay. And meanwhile, he also gave me his company name, Knowledge, Empowerment, Development, Understanding. So now a company name is a very important part in the communication. And as I told, I will never write okay, I see, or any boring answers. Okay, because I am trying to make a relationship and I want to make sure that this client, if he's talking to other freelancers, he should close those chat windows and have his focus on me. I acknowledge his company name by telling, wow, that's a powerful name, right? So that is the strategies, or that is a kind of powerful statement. You have to show interest in your client's business, his company name, his business, or everything throughout the conversation and also throughout the project as well. Don't lose the focus and the energy once the project is awarded because that would again not build a long-term relationship, right? And then I'm asking him more questions because I want to show him that I'm so much curious in your business. Let's talk about your business. And guys, I can give you in writing that if you are talking to someone who is interested in his business genuinely, he will love to talk hours and hours about his business with you, right? So that is exactly what I'm doing. And now this chat has been like going on for 15 minutes with the client. So I'm telling him I'm also curious how does the Australian and African fashion blend? And then he tells me something, it's unique, but it makes a powerful statement, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. I always try finding opportunity for humor because humor, if you can make anyone smile, that is so good, right? Irrespective of if or not you're getting the project, you have to make your conversation very interesting, and there should be, moments in the conversation when you're making the other guys laugh, because that way you are actually eliminating the other freelancers who are using standard boring ways of talking. I see, okay, sir, I will build this for you, because those guys are not future ready. Okay. Now what I'm telling him, now I'm trying to throw a humor, punch on him. I'm telling, would you believe I just have 2 denim jeans and like 5 t-shirts that I've spent my year with? Would that make me suck at fashion? So this is just a casual chat with a light humor, and then he tells me something, and then he says ha, means he's kind of laughing at what I said. So this is how I'm trying to eliminate the other boring freelancers. I want this client to only talk to me and give the project to me, because I'm investing my time. I'm using all my brains, all my strategies. I'm trying to use it step by step with him, so that he is going nowhere. Today he is going to give me the project, right? And then I'm doing some casual chat. Now is another important section of the chat. Guys, always please make sure that you check that if you're talking to the decision maker. So I ask him, David, are you the business owner or you've got partners? The reason I ask this question is, if I'm talking to a client or someone who is reporting to his boss, who is an employee and who is not the decision maker, he might be spending a week or two gathering all the applications from other freelancers, companies, and then maybe he would be shortlisting himself and then presenting to his boss, which would actually be a long process, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks. And the lifespan of leads is very small. Those who are bidders here or those who do frequent bidding on projects, they know that if you're not winning the project within the day or two, the likelihood of you getting the project is very low. So I want to make sure I ask the person, are you the decision maker? And this question is actually very tricky. You have to make some relation with the with the employer or with the person you are chatting with before you can ask him, because no one appreciates you asking him, hey, are you the decision maker or just a puppet, right? So this is very important. So now, since I know I've added the humor, I've asked him some questions. He loves my work. He loves the way I ask questions and all. Now I know the relationship barrier is done. Now I can start asking him questions which are very straightforward. This guy tells me it's a business with my partner. So he's got one partner, means he's 50% of the decision maker, which is still good. Okay. So he's not an employee who would report this to his boss, and his boss would be the final decision maker, whom I might not ever get to speak with. So I make sure I'm talking to the decision maker. Now I get to know he is 50% of the decision maker. So still a good chance that I'll be closing this project. Right. Now is the part which I show the prospect or the client that I'm going to give you the best advice based on my experience and expertise. Before giving him a cost, I walk him through all the options available, because I want to tell him I'm not after your money. I'm your technology partner. I'm going to walk you through all the options so that you can take an informed decision. And I'm also going to tell you what option will cost how much. Okay. So this way you are not only helping the client by educating him on the options available, and he would appreciate that this guy has so much expertise and experience, and he's such a professional that he is giving me options. He's not just selling me, just giving me the $3,500 and I'll complete in 2 months. He's actually educating me and he's giving me all the options so that I can decide what is best for my business, what is best within the budget that I have, right? So for this particular project, I gave him two options. I tell him I use a CMS, and then see, I told you that um, I don't use any technical terms with the client unless I know he's a technical guy. So when I say CMS, it's a it's a IT jargon. Maybe the client doesn't know. Then I write him in the in the brackets in very easy language. Call it a ready-to-use software that can be customized in design and functionality. And then I tell him using a CMS would speed up the development and be cost effective. And then I ask him, have you heard of WordPress? Because I don't want to tell him that I will use WordPress, because what if the guy doesn't know what WordPress is? So if he doesn't know what WordPress is, I'm going to invest the other 2 minutes trying to explain him in very simple terms what WordPress is and how it can help his business. But the guy says, I know WordPress. So that is good for me. I saved some time. Otherwise, I would have ended up explaining him what is WordPress. Now I give him the second option because I also want to charge this client as much as possible. So I tell him, I build the platform from scratch. This would be cost intensive but has some benefits. And then I give him some more information, because I'm trying to see that maybe this guy has a budget of $6,000 or $8,000. So I give him both the options. But this guy, since he knows WordPress, he tells me WordPress is great. Then I said yes. So now I'm looking at the first option. Now, since this guy approached me when I had placed a bid of $3,500, then maybe he can also pay me $4,000. It's not a big deal. So I quoted him, okay, I should be able to deliver you a high quality website in around $4,000. And I'm also telling him why I'm asking $4,000 despite the fact that I placed 3,500, because I'm telling him that I'm keeping some buffer cost just in case, because obviously we don't have a technical document to sign off here. Okay, we don't have the low level details captured somewhere. So this is at a high level, and there might be some new features or some deviation that you want from the project once it's in development. So let's keep 500 for the buffer cost, and you pay me 4,000. And then I'm educating him that what kind of features he might be demanding in once the development starts, like integration with shipping partners, doing some automation at the admin interface, or setting up the autoresponders. Right. Now we are negotiating. I say 4,000. Now this guy he also has the same mindset. Now maybe that guy is thinking, now since this guy quoted 3,500, he might even agree on 3,000. So let's tell him for 3,000. So now we are negotiating, and this is very common, okay, and especially in high budget projects. So he's telling me 3,000, and now I'm trying to explain him that why I'm asking $4,000, because you are looking at Australian dollars, but I'm looking at US dollars. So I'm still asking $3,000, but US dollars, which eventually is 4,000 Australian dollars. That is why I'm asking Australian dollars. So now this guy is trying to settle in between, which is a common trend in whenever the buyer and sellers negotiate, they try to come in midway. And then he writes some good word about me. I really admire you, this and that. So this again confirms me that this guy is going to award me the project today. And also, I forgot to tell you that after 5 to 8 minutes of the chat, I mean, in the beginning, he was taking like 10 to 20 to 30 seconds to reply to my chat, which was obvious because, he must be talking to other freelancers as well. Maybe 3 other freelancers, 5 other freelancers. But after 5 to 8 minutes, his chat response was very quick. So I knew that I have my strategies, what I've used. I have managed to eliminate other freelancers, and now he's just focused on me and just talking to me. So that was again a very good motivation for me, and I knew the chances of closing this deal is very high. So I should give him my best. So he writes some good word about me, which is good, motivated me. And then, okay, so now I know. So now I can spend another couple of minutes, making that relationship even stronger. Now I'm asking him personal questions. Again, Please ask personal questions only when you have breaken the initial communication barrier, and that will happen only when you make the conversation interesting, you put in humor, and something. Now this guy tells me that he's an application engineer in an IT company. So I was quite amused because I was in the assumption that this guy knows nothing about technology, but now I find out that he's an IT guy, which was good because I'm also an IT guy. So let's give him more about myself. So then I asked him, because I'm getting curious all the time when I talk to the clients. So now I'm asking him, see, moving to IT to fashion, I mean, it's so cool, but it can be risky as well. So he tells that, okay, it's just a calculated risk. Sorry. Now again, here is an opportunity, because I want to tell the client that, okay, I'm also living a similar life on this end of the world. So I told him that, okay, I have also quit my, corporate career, and I started my own company. So I tell him I've also taken crazy risk as well. And then I gave him a link to my blog where he can read my story. And then in the next slide, you'll see, I think he somewhere wrote, okay, that your story is good, right? So use these opportunities where you can tell the client that your and his mindset is same. Okay. So he says, I'm happy to award you the contract. So this is the time I know, okay, now in the next few minutes, I'll get the project. And again, I make sure I'm not taking any calls. I'm not talking to my team, nothing. Because even if I waste a minute, this guy logs off, and maybe tomorrow morning or in the evening, he changes his mind, right? So remove all the distraction, all the communication, because $3,500 is a good amount, no matter if you're an individual, if you're a company. And you don't want to waste this opportunity because there is so much competition. Even 5 minutes would kill all the the time invested in bringing this deal to this point. So yeah, so now I'm telling him, okay, let's shake hand and I can start working on the low level details from Monday. So always set the right expectation. Don't tell him, okay, I'm going to start working from tomorrow, because now you have built a relationship. Now this guy knows that you are the one who's going to do the project. You are the one who's actually curious, who wants to help him with the project. So you can buy some time. So I think I don't remember the day. Maybe it was Wednesday or Thursday. I told him from Monday I will start capturing the low level details, and then maybe by Wednesday or Thursday I'll kickstart the project. And then now since we have agreed on the cost, that was $3,500. The next important thing is discussing the milestones. Guys, I assume most of you know what milestone is, but if you don't, please read about milestone. There is also, an article on my blog. I will share a link. It's also on my YouTube channel if you want to read. If you still have doubts, message me personally on my Facebook page and I'll be happy to assist you. Milestone is very important. It assures the safety of your money, it reduces the chances of fraud, right? And it also gets you some money upfront. So what I usually do is, for the size, and try to keep milestones very simple. So what I do is, I don't make it complex for the client. I just divide it into 4 or 5 milestones of equal value, as you can see. So this was 3,500. I divided it into 5 milestones, 700 each. I make sure I keep the first milestone as upfront, because as you guys might already know, as soon as you accept a project on Freelancer, it charges you commission for the whole project value, for the entire project value. So and it's like 10%, I think. So if I accept this $3,500 project, my PAN card will be charged $350. So if I'm not asking him for an upfront, then I'm just keeping a liability on my card. And then I will also not feel good because I'm not taking any money home for my company. So I wanted to ask him 700 upfront, and then subsequent milestones you can see which are relevant to the project. So if you're a content writer, it would be something different. If you're if you're a graphics designer, this would be something different. But if you're into a website making business, or you provide website making as a service, as a freelancing, So you might use similar milestones like the desktop view, mobile view, user testing, and so on. So this is where we agreed on the milestone. Make sure if there is an opportunity, take the upfront because you feel good taking some money home. And then he says, I'm going to award you now, right? Okay. So, and then there was some technical things I had to take care. And then I also gave him an option because, $3,500, accepting all the milestones at once might be overwhelming for the client because his card would be charged $3,500. So what I usually do is I advise the client, okay, if you have some budget issues or if you want to pay this over a time span, say the next few weeks, just create the first two milestones so that I get the upfront and the second milestone is secure and I'll be good to dedicate time for your project. So what I'm telling him in the second last paragraph is, in the second last chat is, please award me the job and create 5 milestones as proposed. You can create the first 2 milestones for now, else your card would be charged full amount. So it's also good to give clients some option so that again he thinks that, okay, this guy really cares about me. He's making sure because I'm new to the platform. I don't know how Freelancer work or how Upwork works, but this guy is giving me good options to make it a comfortable deal for both of us. So we agreed on milestones. He created the first 2 milestones, and yeah, that was it. And I was awarded the project, and there it says congratulations. So I really hope you were able to learn some new strategies. And again, I'll say communication, conversation, the way you talk to people is very important. The way you ask the questions is very important. And you have to be very relevant to the project. You have to always give the message to the client that you care about this project, because that is, and especially to the new freelancers who have joined this session, trust me, personalizing, giving the employer a personal touch is going to make you win over the other freelancers who have done 2,000 projects, 3,000 projects. It doesn't really matters, because even I was a new freelancer. I had a fresh new profile. Back in 2016, but I use these strategies. It will take some time. It will be hard. Okay, I won't ever tell you it will be easy, but it's not impossible. If your strategies are right, if you're personalizing your bids, and if you're really genuinely interested in providing high quality work and satisfactory results to your clients, you will get the projects. And once you start building the profile, that profile day by day, week by week would be pure gold for you. So hope you enjoyed, and I know I've been speaking a lot, but I wanted to give you all the thought that I have when I was handling this project.